Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I'm Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, this is your Friday morning episode of Bullet Points. Now, as you know, Bullet Points is where we really meet the left head on in their editorials and their interviews, all the things from media, print media, where they love to live. Well, we're taking it right to their doorstep, and we're countering their arguments on the daily here at Langley Outdoors Academy. But what we're going to talk about is another article from NPR. NPR is actually insinuating a lot of things about this Texas law, the Constitution carry that just went into place. And it's important to ask yourself why the left is going apoplectic that this law is going into effect in Texas, particularly as well as other states. There's a reason. And honestly, the reason why is it conflicts with their entire narrative. Everything that they say is based around, well, more guns equals more violence. And if you don't have background checks, you're going to have more violence. Well, the right has called them on the carpet. We now have Constitution counter in a significant number of states, and gun laws are loosening. But the gun violence is not ramping up in those areas. And that right there is what you call disproving a theory. If there's not more issue that's caused at the same time more guns are loosened on the laws, their entire narrative falls apart and they can't have it, which is why they're attacking so hard. But let's dive into this article from NPR, and I will show you what I'm talking about. Listen to the verbiage that they use in these snippets, because this is important. You can now carry a handgun in Texas without a license, training, or background check. Now, that's deceiving. What they're insinuating there is basically you can carry a gun without a background check. Well, to buy the gun, you have to have the background check still. That didn't change. What changed was, if you already had the background check, why are we doing a background check again for a carry permit? It doesn't make sense. You already have one. There's a lot of arguments that they're using that are very commonplace, and like I said, this is everywhere, but that's a good start. They're trying to make it into something that it's not, okay? Texans can now carry a handgun in public without a permit or the background check and training the state previously required. They're acting like this is unheard of. Well, there's a bunch of other states that previously did not have training requirements. My state of Georgia, my home state, no training requirement for a CCW. Just saying. It's not that difficult. All the states are very, very different. But they're trying to make it seem like this is that outlandish craziness that has never been heard of before, and Texans are crazy. It's not the case. But we all know that. But it's important to highlight it because these are really good points to refute when you hear these arguments. The law, which took effect on Wednesday, has its critics. Gun safety groups oppose permitless carry. Well, of course, gun safety groups do. They don't want any guns in the United States. And many law enforcement officials, including Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia and Doug Griffith, the president of the Houston Police Officers Union, have said it would make the jobs of police officers more dangerous. Here's the question that I have for you on that, because this is an important piece here. Of course we support the police. Of course that we support the right for them to be safe. But how does legal citizens who have a background check buying the gun legally, carrying it, and exercising their option make officers less safe when it's the criminals who carry it anyway without the background checks that are the ones hurting the officers? It doesn't make sense. And that's important to note. They're trying to say like, well, all these legal gun owners are going to carry their guns legally now. They're legal gun owners. The criminals were already doing it. What's the problem? And that's important because they don't say that, right? Now the Lone Star State joins a slew of others that have loosened or removed permitting requirements this year. Those states include Iowa, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and Tennessee, which is you're getting to the point of their problem. If their theory on gun violence equals gun violence is disproven, their whole gun argument goes away, and they have to spend a whole lot of time in focus groups come up with a brand new way to attack the Second Amendment. That's why you're getting this reaction from Texas, because Texas is viewed as the leader of the conservative states. That's why you're seeing this, and that's why they're quite honestly being a little bit deceptive. I'm going to give them a little bit deceptive. Background checks won't be needed to carry a handgun. Okay, background checks, like I said earlier, were already carried out when you bought the gun. So what's the deal? The new law allows anyone 21 years of age or older to carry a handgun, unless they have a violent conviction or are otherwise barred by law. That solves the problem. If they have a conviction of violence or they're barred by law, what's the issue? They can't do it. So what are you complaining about? You're complaining about your narratives being threatened. That's what's happening here. But a background check that might flag such a disqualification is no longer necessary to carry a handgun. It's already a law. It's already in the law. That whole sentence doesn't make any sense. And this part is the little creme de la creme. This is the little cherry on top. Texans were already allowed to carry rifles in public without a license. So tell me, why are police officers and the public going to be in more danger because people are carrying handguns legally? but before they could carry rifles legally. Explain to me the difference. Because I was under the impression weapons of war were like an anathema to freedom and a very threatening device. If it was already legal in Texas and this didn't happen, what do you think is going to happen with handguns that didn't happen with rifles? Do you see the cyclical logic? It doesn't make sense, and they're trapping themselves in their own verbiage and their own narrative. If this fails, from their perspective, they're done. They're in trouble. Because anybody worth their salt can come up with a refuting argument to gun control because you can now point to the actual examples, not theory anymore. And that is important. That's what I have for you tonight on today on Bullet Points. Check out the 9 p.m. slot tonight. And until then, I'm Braden. See you later.